მოგესალმებით. დღევანდელი ჩვენი ლაივი არის ონლაინ მასტერკლასი TOEFL-ის გამოცდის შესახებ. ბატონი ამირი არის ჩვენი სასწავლო ცენტრის კვალიფიციური მასწავლებელი და ექსპერტი საერთაშორისო გამოცდებისა. დღეს ის საუბრობს TOEFL-ის გამოცდის სპეციფიკაზე, დაწვრილებით, მაგალითად, რას მოიცავს, რა უნდა ვიცოდეთ და გავითვალისწინოთ ამ გამოცდის შესახებ. თუ რაიმე დამატებითი შეკითხვა გექნებათ, შეგიძლიათ დაწეროთ ლაივის კომენტარებში ეს შეკითხვები, ან მოგწეროთ პირად შეტყობინებებში და ჩვენ გიპასუხებთ თქვენ შეკითხვებზე.
Welcome everyone to our new episode on live stream on Facebook. Today we're talking about the TOEFL iBT. TOEFL iBT has been an international standard exam for the last 40 years or so. Candidates from all over the world have taken this test to measure their abilities and skills in English in an academic context. Pretty much all universities all over the world accept TOEFL, and a lot of countries nowadays accept TOEFL as an assessment for their for language proficiency. It's been a few years that TOEFL is primarily done on internet, so the paper version has almost gone obsolete. TOEFL is a test which is provided by an institution in the United States called the ETS. ETS is also responsible and in charge of other tests such as the GRE and other academic TOEFL versions. In this part of the test, you're evaluated for your abilities to analyze texts, and the texts are mostly in academic context. They are derived from different sources such as academic textbooks, academic articles online, and other books which are available on every campus. In the reading, we have 3 to 4 passages, which depending on the nature of the test, there might be 3 or 4 passages, which I will explain the difference in a few minutes. Each text or each passage has about 700 words, and despite the fact that the texts are from academic sources, the vocabulary used in them are not very technical, so students do not need to worry about text or context being so technical, and if there are usually words which are beyond general understanding of the context, they're usually given to students in form of a glossary. There are 12 to 14 questions for each text, and there are so many guidance on actually on your computer while you're doing the test, so you can quickly move to the sections that your question is relevant to. Depending on the number of passages, you have 60 to 80 minutes to complete this part of the test. And the good thing about it is that you can come back through the features on your screen and review or change your answers at any time during the test. And candidates who are taking the TOEFL or who are going to take the TOEFL are strongly recommended to read a wide range of texts in academic context. These texts can be downloaded from the internet or can be obtained from university libraries or university resources. In the listening section, which follows the reading part, you're going to have to wear a headset. And this is because of the internet-based and the computer-based nature of the test. It makes it more convenient, and students can focus more on what they hear. Pretty much all of the recordings are conversations and lectures which take place on a college campus or university campus. First, you will hear 2 to 3 conversations between probably 2 university students or a university student and a professor, or professor and another professor, and in some cases a student with a member of the staff. Each conversation is about 3 minutes long, and there are 5 multiple questions for each conversation. The form of questions are pretty much like the reading. Following the conversations, there are 4 to 6 lectures. These lectures are given by different college professors, and a lot of candidates often ask me about the accent. So TOEFL has a reputation to have or to express like some sort of an American accent, because it's done by ETS, which is an American organization, an American institution. But just like any other international university, there might be lecturers who come from other parts of the world, and they might have different accents. But one thing you need to know is that the English in all tests are standard English, and you don't need to worry about the difficulty of different accents. The lectures are 3 to 5 minutes long, and they're followed by 6 multiple choice questions. Just like the reading, questions have some hints and some highlighted sections that you can focus more on those parts. But you need to remember a few things. Unlike the reading, in the listening part, you cannot go back to previous questions. And just like the IELTS exam, you will hear the recordings only once. Depending on the number of questions, as you see, again, we did not give you a fixed number. I said 2 to 3 conversations, 4 to 6 lectures. So depending on the number of these questions, you may get different timing. So the listening might be 60 to 90 minutes on the whole. Now let's talk about why the listening and reading does not have a fixed time. In TOEFL, there is a section that is added either to the listening or to the reading, and that section is not going to be part of your assessment, but you will never know, so you need to try to do your best. That extra section, which could be either in the listening or the reading and not both, are some questions that exam designers are trying to see the outcome. They're trying to receive feedback on those questions, and if they receive positive feedback, they will implement them in future tests. But as a candidate, you will never know which part of the test is the extra part, so you need to focus on your performance and deal with every part of the test just like the other. So when the listening section is over, you will be giving a 10-minute required break. During this 10 minutes, you have to refresh your brain and prepare yourself for the next part of the test. Moving on to speaking. Well, this is an internet-based test and everything takes place online, so you have to practice this a lot before you take the actual test. There are 6 tasks, and in which you have to do different things and make different responses. Oftentimes you have to read a text or listen to a recording and then provide a response to it. The whole part takes about 20 minutes, and like the listening part, you have to use your headset here. Your answers are giving your responses are given to a microphone, so there is no physical examiner to talk to. This can make it a little bit challenging for some, but if you take enough time practicing before the test, it should not be very difficult. Before the recording starts, before you actually give your response, there is a 15 to 30 seconds preparation time. This time depends on the nature of the question. And when the recording starts, you have 45 to 60 seconds to talk. And you need to make sure that you have taken the preparation time in good use, so you can talk in an organized manner and use a wide range of vocabulary and grammatical structures and cover all the sections of the question. Given the fact that you're not talking to a physical examiner, you have to practice this a lot so that you won't forget things. You can take notes and make sure that those notes come in handy during the recording time. In the writing section of the test, you have to type your answers. This part of the test takes about 50 minutes. Just like IELTS, you're going to write two responses. One is an integrated section, which means just like the speaking part, you have to read a text and listen to a recording and then write your response, which takes about 20 minutes. The required range of words are lower than task 2. And in part 2, you have to write an independent essay. You will be given a prompt or a question, and then you have to write your reaction or your response to the essay. This part of the test has 30 minutes time. And as you see, the time given for each task is a lot lower than the paper version or the IELTS. And this is due to the fact that you get to type your answer. So, of course, editing and typing and writing and changing things can be done faster. Just like the speaking section, make sure you practice typing your responses when you're preparing for the test. And because the nature of typing is a little different from using a pen or pencil, and students might need to practice this thoroughly before attempting for the real test. Coming back to the question of accent, candidates often wonder why there are different accents in different exams. As for the recording, there's no worries. There are no worries because the recordings will be given in standard English, and if you had practice enough, you wouldn't have any problem covering the questions. But as for the speaking and production, candidates should know that there is no difference between different accents. What matters most is how consistent you are. So, for example, if you're trying to speak with an American accent or use American vocabulary or American structures, it's a good idea to remain the same all through your speaking or writing responses. So, examiners do not favor responses which are a composition of different accents. So you use, for example, the American versions of the words, but you spell them in a British way. So you're strongly recommended to avoid that. So thank you very much, everyone. This is the end of our live stream today, and see you next week.
მადლობა რომ გვიყურეთ და იყავით ჩვენთან ერთად. ნებისმიერი კითხვის შემთხვევაში დაგვიკავშირდით, მოგწერეთ პირად შეტყობინებებში ან ლაივის კომენტარებში და ჩვენ აუცილებლად გიპასუხებთ თქვენ შეკითხვებს.